Fear grips your heart. Your palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. No, this isn't the beginning of an Eminem song. It's what 75% of people experience when faced with public speaking. That's right, 3 out of 4 people would rather do almost anything else than stand up in front of a crowd. But what if I told you that this fear could be your greatest asset? Welcome to Speaking Secrets Revealed, Lessons from a Pro. I'm your host, and today we're diving deep into the world of public speaking with insights from Scott Berkun's Confessions of a Public Speaker. Whether you're a seasoned pro or a terrified rookie, this episode will transform how you think about stepping onto that stage. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, stage fright. It's that feeling that makes your stomach churn and your mind go blank. Scott Berkun knows this feeling all too well. Picture this. It's 2008, and Scott is about to give a keynote talk to a crowd of 2,000 people at the Web 2.0 Expo conference. He's been given just 10 minutes to speak about creativity. The pressure is on. As Scott stands backstage, listening to the last speaker before his turn, he sees the huge crowd in the darkness. Press photographers and film crews kneel in the aisles, the glare of the lights reflecting in their lenses. His heart is racing, his mind a whirlwind of thoughts. Will he remember his material? Will the audience connect with his ideas? The moment arrives, Scott's name is called, and he charges onto the stage, heading straight for the lectern. But here's where things take a turn. As he looks out into the crowd to get his bearings, his eyes stop at the countdown timer. Instead of the 10 minutes he expected, the 10 minutes he'd planned, prepared, and practiced for, he has only 9 minutes and 34 seconds. 26 of his precious seconds are gone. Now, in the comfort of this podcast, 26 seconds doesn't seem worth complaining about. But there, in that moment, raring to go, Scott was caught off guard. He couldn't imagine how he'd wasted 26 seconds without starting, and as he tried to make sense of this surprising number, more time went by. His brain, not as smart as it thinks it is, insisted on playing detective right there, life on stage, consuming even more precious time. This story illustrates a crucial point about public speaking. Fear and nerves are not your enemy. They're a natural response to a situation our caveman brains interpret as dangerous. Standing alone, in open territory with no place to hide, without a weapon, in front of a large crowd of creatures staring at you, to our ancestors, that spelled certain doom. But here's the kicker. This fear response can be your secret weapon. The anxiety creates a kind of energy you can use, just as excitement does. Ian Tyson, a stand-up comedian and motivational speaker, offers this gem of advice. The body's reaction to fear and excitement is the same. So, it becomes a mental decision. Am I afraid or am I excited? So, how do you channel this energy positively? Scott suggests several strategies. First, get to the venue early so you don't have to rush. Do tech and sound rehearsal well before your start time. Walk around the stage so your body feels safe in the room. Sit in the audience so you have a physical sense of what they will see. These actions allow you to get used to the physical environment, which should minimize your body's sense of danger. But perhaps the most powerful tool in your arsenal is practice. Not just running through your slides, but standing up, imagining an audience around you, and presenting exactly as if it were the real thing. This doesn't mean aiming for perfection. That's a trap that will only increase your anxiety. Instead, the goal is to know your material so well that you're very comfortable with it. Confidence, not perfection, is the aim. Now, let's shift gears and talk about what happens once you're actually on that stage. You've conquered your fear, you're standing in front of your audience, and they're falling asleep. It's a speaker's worst nightmare, but it's all too common. Why? Because most presentations are, frankly, boring. John Medina, a molecular biologist and brain expert, believes that 10 minutes is the maximum amount of time most people can pay attention to most things. This isn't just his opinion. It's backed by science. Professor Donald A. Bly, in his research for the book, What's the Use of Lectures?, strapped his students to heart rate monitors during various lectures and measured what happened over time. The results? Their heart rates declined steadily after peaking at the start of the lecture. So, how do you keep your audience engaged beyond that crucial 10-minute mark? The key is to understand what captures human attention. Our brains are wired to pay attention to certain things. Problems we relate to, people we empathize with. puzzles we want to solve, and yes, even things that explode, especially for the men in your audience. Scott suggests several strategies to maintain audience engagement. First, set a clear pace for your presentation. Think of yourself as the drummer in a band, setting the rhythm for everything that happens. Make your audience aware of the structure of your talk. Let them know you have 5 points to make in 30 minutes, for example. This gives them a roadmap to follow. Next, direct your audience's attention deliberately. The simplest way to do this is by telling stories. As soon as you open your mouth, you are telling a kind of story. All communication has a narrative, a beginning, a middle, and an end. The best way to direct attention is to talk about situations that the audience cares about. Another powerful technique is to play the part. Be bigger than you are, speak louder, take stronger positions, and behave more aggressively than you would in an ordinary conversation. Remember, if you're at the front of the room, how far away are the people in the middle rows? Now, realize half the audience is even farther away. Those people in the back need more help to connect with you and your message. But perhaps the most crucial element of an engaging presentation is tension and release. All great experiences involve a dramatic rhythm of tension and release, whether it's a masterful magic show, a roller coaster ride, or a flirtatious first date. In a presentation, the simplest kind of tension to build and then release is problem and solution. If your talk consists of several problems important to the audience, and you promise to release the tension created by those problems by solving each one, you'll score big. Now, let's talk about something that many aspiring speakers are curious about, the business side of public speaking. Can you actually make a living standing on stages and sharing your ideas? The short answer is yes, but it's not as simple as just being a great speaker. Scott's journey into professional speaking is illuminating. He quit his regular job years ago, wrote 2 best-selling books, and has been hired to fly around the world to speak about ideas from those books. But here's the thing, he's not paid for being Scott Berkun. He's paid for the value he provides to whoever hires him. Let's break down the economics. If, for example, his hosts can charge $500 per person for an event, and they get 500 people to attend, that's $250,000 in gross revenue. Part of what will allow them to charge that much and draw that many people is the speakers they will have. The bigger the names, the more prestigious their backgrounds, and the more interesting their presentations, the more people will come, and the more they will be willing to pay. But here's the catch. Fame or expertise drives most speaking engagements. You can be the best public speaker of all time, but if you're not known for something specific, most of the world won't care. Having subject matter expertise makes getting paid to speak possible. If you have expertise in a subject, you can find organizations that run conferences and training events on that subject, and they often hire people to give lectures and teach seminars at their events. Scott's advice for those looking to build a speaking career: start by speaking for free. Build your reputation, hone your skills, and develop your unique perspective. Then, as your expertise grows and your name becomes known in your field, opportunities for paid speaking engagements will follow. But remember, the speaking world isn't all glamour and big paychecks. There's a lot of unglamorous work behind the scenes. Travel can be grueling, with early mornings, late nights, and countless hours spent in airports and strange hotel rooms. And then there's the pressure of performance. Every time you step on that stage, you're putting yourself and your ideas out there for judgment. Now, let's address something that every speaker, no matter how experienced, has to deal with: the unexpected. Things will go wrong. It's not a matter of if, but when. The key is how you handle these mishaps. Scott has a wealth of experience in this area. He's been heckled by drunken crowds in a Boston bar. He's lectured to empty seats and a bored janitor in New York City. He's had a laptop crash in a Moscow auditorium and a microphone die at a keynote speech in San Jose. He's even watched helplessly as the Parisian executives who hired him fell asleep in the conference room while he was speaking. But here's the secret to coping with these events. Realize that everyone forgets about them after they happen, except for one person, you. No one else really cares that much. Most people listening to presentations around the world right now are hoping their speakers will end soon. That's all they want. They're not judging as much as you think, because they don't care as much as you think. So, what do you do when things go wrong? First, don't panic. Remember that your response to a mistake defines the audience's response. If you respond to spilling water on your pants as if it were the sinking of the Titanic, the audience will see it, and you as a tragedy. But if you're cool, or better yet, find it funny, the audience will do the same. Second, be prepared. Have a backup plan. Know your material so well that even if your slides fail, you can still deliver value to your audience. And finally, be honest. If something goes wrong, acknowledge it. The audience will appreciate your authenticity. As we wrap up, let's recap the main takeaways from our journey into the world of public speaking. 1. Fear is natural and can be channeled into positive energy. 2. Practice is key to building confidence, not perfection. 3. Engage your audience by setting a clear pace, telling stories, and creating tension and release. 4. Building a speaking career takes time and expertise, not just speaking skills. 5. Things will go wrong. It's how you handle them that matters. Remember, public speaking is a skill, and like any skill, it can be improved with practice and persistence. So I challenge you to take what you've learned today and apply it. Whether it's volunteering to give a presentation at work, joining a local Toastmasters group, or simply practicing in front of a mirror, take that first step. Who knows? Maybe the next time you're faced with a speaking opportunity, instead of feeling that familiar grip of fear, you'll feel a surge of excitement. You'll step up to that microphone, look out at your audience and think, I've got this. Thank you for listening to Speaking Secrets Revealed, Lessons from a Pro. If you want to dive deeper into the world of public speaking, I highly recommend picking up a copy of Scott Berkun's Confessions of a Public Speaker. You'll find the link in the episode description. Until next time, keep speaking, keep learning, and keep growing. This is your host, signing off.